Hey everybody, Happy New Year and welcome to Live Coding Happy Hour. I know it's a little bit past the New Year, but for us this is a new year of content on Live Coding Happy Hour. If you're new to Live Coding Happy Hour, let me tell you what you're in for. This is what I like to call the antithesis of a well-polished demo. It is us, ServiceNow developer advocates and project managers, and trying to get something done on the Now platform and its constituent parts. We have a goal. We know what we want to do. We have a tool set, and we're going to try and get there so that you can see how the sausage is made, where we skin our knees, and maybe try to avoid some things or learn some things. Share if you're watching live. Jump in the chat. We're going to scratch our heads, and a lot of times somebody out there knows what's going on. So now you know what I mean by not a well-polished demo. This is how it goes. We want to show you how developers really work. But before we do that, I want to go around and do some introductions. So let's go clockwise as we read the screen. That way.
That's me. I'm clockwise. Hello, everybody. My name's Brad Tilton. I am a senior developer advocate here at ServiceNow. I've been in the ecosystem for a little over 13 years. Been with ServiceNow for the last 5. Yeah, that's me. I think, Ashley, you're next on the clock.
Hi, I'm Ashley Snyder. I am an outbound product manager here at ServiceNow for the UI Builder and Next Experience teams. Been with ServiceNow for about a month, but I've been working on the platform for the past 6 years.
Hi, everyone. I'm Earl Duque. I'm a developer advocate here at ServiceNow. Almost 5 years on the platform, and I'm still pretending like I know what I'm doing. And they keep accepting me into these shows, so oops.
And my name is Chuck Tomasi, Senior Developer Advocate. Somebody said there was a little bit of latency. I might be able to adjust that here. Don't know. We'll try. Not sure what's going to happen on this show. It's so unpredictable. Been with ServiceNow since 2010. Was a customer for a couple of years before then. So let's go around and introduce our drinks.
All right. I am today drinking a this is a Dogfish Head Utopia's Barrel Aged Stout. This is one of my favorite beers, so I thought it'd be a great way to kick off the year. I don't normally go with the high ABV beers on shows that I'm driving, but let's do it.
All right, I'll go next. So I am drinking also a stout. It is Athletic Brewing's Lodge Life. It's actually a non-alcoholic beer. It's pretty good, though. It tastes like vanilla and cinnamon and chocolate.
I have wanted to try that beer really badly since I saw it, and they don't have it in my area.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's really good.
All of their other beers I love, but that one I couldn't find.
I'm drinking, I drank this on the show before, but it's a early bird stout with coffee in it. I'm Pacific Standard Time, so this is right after I eat lunch, which makes me really sleepy. And so I need stuff that really wakes me up, so nice dark stouts.
I'm going to break the stout tradition. I've got a Scottish-style amber ale. I've got Kilt Lifter from Four Peaks Brewing right here in the area. This was provided courtesy of Mark Scott, who was over last week singing karaoke with me for several hours. And we had a good time. We had a lot of pizza. We did not get to that beer. So I still have, well, after this one, 5 left. So might see this one again soon. All right, Earl, I saw you sneak a link up there. And that's a good reminder for me to Remind everybody, if you go to devlink.sn/San Diego, you will get our master directory of all this content. We are doing this in chapters of a season. So each week we're going to bring you a different theme, or in the case of this one, it's so big, we have to have 2 weeks of UI Builder and Next Experience things. So keep your eye out for that. We will have links. You can set your schedules and say, ooh, that second week of March is really what I'm after. So Creator Toolbox, blog, if there's a podcast on that week, it will align with the same topic. Live Coding Happy Hour, you've got up to 4 opportunities to really drill in and get the history of a topic and see how it's made and a great demo. And then, well, there's Live Coding Happy Hour. So with that introduction, I think I'm going to leave you with that. Brad's driving, right?
I am.
Go for it.
All right. Hopefully we don't get the pink screen again soon, which has been happening. So today, this is now Next Experience week, week 1 of Next Experience 2 weeks. So today, we are going to be looking at the repeater functionality in UI Builder. This is some functionality I've been waiting for a long time. This is, I think if you're working with Jelly or Service Portal, one of the first things that you learn how to do that really feels like, you have some power now and you can make things happen is when you learn how to loop through things and then, display each of the items on the screen and make lists or cards or all sorts of things. And so we had that functionality in UI Builder through, what's the thing's called? The acronym.
You thinking EVAM?
I was thinking EVAM. I knew it was an E. I totally blanked. I kept wanting to say ESPN, so I don't know what's going on. Through EVAM, but EVAM requires a good amount of work to set up. And then on the back end, it's pretty, or in UI Builder, it's kind of rigid what you can do with it. So that's what was there. And now we're going to look at the repeater component, which is something you can kind of loop through. So I don't know. Is that screen like that for everybody watching?
We're not
Does anybody else see a
you're-
pink screen?
So
it
you're
looks
like
fine to
header
me.
in Chrome
Oh,
is
it looks
pink,
good.
but the rest
Okay.
looks fine.
No, so when I see my screen in StreamYard, which is our streaming platform, it looks almost totally pink. I can't see anything.
Oh,
so
no,
as
yeah,
long
it
as
looks great to us.
good for everybody else.
Well, this will be interesting since you're driving.
Well, I can see it on my monitor fine. So, all right, we're going to get into UI Builder. And yeah, so let's get in here. I should say what our use case is. So we have kind of done some things around this on the show before, but we have an internal tool that the dev advocates built. I think Dave and Josh built it way back when, called Artifact Manager. And this is how we manage all of the content that we produce. We produce blogs and live shows and recorded videos and podcasts and webinars, and we have to manage all of that stuff and track it and track the views and all of those things. So we do that through an app called Artifact Manager that we just kind of use in the standard forms and lists. I'm never happy with the standard forms and lists, and so we've made Artifact Manager like UIs before, but only part of the way on shows. And I'm hoping that we can make a functional one for Artifact Manager on this show. And so Artifact Manager, we have all these artifacts. I guess I could show it. Anyway, we have all these artifacts. And then we also have a short link generator where we can generate devlink.sn/something. And so a lot of times artifacts have short links, but there's no connection. And they don't always have short links. And so I want an easy way where I can look at a list of artifacts, see if it has a short link, and if not, generate one. And so we're going to build that UI here in UI Builder. So this is a very simple homepage that I put together for our Artifact Manager workspace. It already says Artifact Manager Home. It looks beautiful so far. And I have I pre-built a data resource called Artifacts and Short URLs, and it's basically generating me a whole bunch of objects where each artifact is an object, and then I did a search to where if that artifact has a corresponding short URL, that shows up as well. So those are two different tables and they're not actually linked. So there's some querying going on. So this is a transform data resource. Like here's one. So this was the MVP announcement, has a short link here. And so that shows up under short URL. So basically I want to loop through this list of stuff and show it on the page, each of them in whatever format I want. So you could do this through a list, or you could do it through evam, but right now I have total control over everything. So I could zoom in, but UI Builder does not like to be zoomed in any more than this. So you guys let me know, or y'all let me know if I need to zoom in more.
We seem to be fine.
Okay, and then I have, yeah, I probably have too many things in this list. Actually, so let's edit this query a little bit. Let's just say planned publish date on the last 3 months. Where's on? Oh, on. All right, so that should give us a little less, I don't know. Okay. So what we want to do, I'm going to add another container in here. And y'all feel free to jump in and ask questions or say things.
Have we hit anything that's new in San Diego on the interface that you've already touched on?
We have hit things and I have not talked about it. So the big thing that people may notice is new is the whole layout system was redone. So I already did this, but if you look at an existing page, it'll ask you, hey, do you want to update this page's layout to the new layout system? And when you do, you have a whole lot. I don't know that you have that many more options, but it is formatted a whole lot better over here. So it's a lot easier to format the containers and everything. So I've got all this alignment, and then I can add a lot of CSS stuff where I don't necessarily have to know how to work the margins. I never remember where the four margins of padding. I don't remember which one's first. I probably should. I've done enough front end stuff, but I don't. So I could I can do that through here. Yeah, this whole layout system is new, which is cool. I want this to be underneath, though.
I'm sure most CSS designers out there still Google most of those things.
Yeah. Let's go down more. This drives me crazy sometimes. Oh, I totally messed this up. Here, we're just going to put it down there and be okay with it. All right, so the way to start this is by repeater. So this is a new, we'll call it a component. I think it's a little more, like, I guess it technically is a component, but it's more than just a regular component. So we're going to add the repeater component, and you'll see there are some helpful instructions down in the bottom right on how you set up that repeater component. But it mainly has this one property, which takes in an array. Probably an array of objects. This can be a fairly complex array of objects, so you can go more than one level deep, although the autocomplete doesn't always work if you do that. So we're going to do that and bind the output of our data resource. This has also changed a little bit, where I think we now have these little icons. And this functionality is a little bit easier to use, I think. Output. Yeah. All right, so this is that data resource. This is the output. If we want to see what this actually looks like, it's this thing. So our output is this whole array of things. So we've got that there. I'm going to save this. All right, and then now that I added some output, it tells me that I've got 52 items in this repeater. So that's kind of nice. You know pretty quickly if you have failed at adding the correct format of the JSON. there. But we've got 52 items. I probably put too much in the list, but oh well. So that's right. Control S to save faster. I usually do that. I just didn't do it. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to come into the repeater and add a component. And I think for now, let's just do some stylized text. Actually, I want to add a container first. It's always better to add a container and then put stuff inside of it. And then let's do some stylized text and put maybe the name of what I'm doing in it. So notice when I come over here, it's telling me, hey, this component's actually inside of a repeater. So whatever you're doing here, you're inside of a repeater. It's going to get repeated. So let's do the dynamic data binding. And then if I go I have a new option here, which is item. So I gave my repeater an array. And so each item in the array is represented as item here. And so my item is an object. So I'm going to hit item and then value. And then here's all of my different properties on that object. So let's start with short description. And then let's make it a div. And then let's go to this container and give it a little bit of padding. How's that?
Beautiful.
And so one of the things you'll notice, and something to me, this feels like expanding and collapsing, except it's actually adding and removing properties. And so maybe Chris Johnson is going to be on next week. Maybe we'll mention that to him. But
yeah, that tripped me up a few times when I was playing with this. I'm like, why is this not saving?
At least it changes live for you. So you'll notice that we have 52 items in the repeater component, but only one shows up here. And that is to make editing easier, right? You don't want all of that stuff on your page. If you've used a lot of UI Builder, the more you put on the page, that's on the back end, that's a whole lot more JSON, and it's just harder to work with. So you only see one on the page. So I'm going to save. So that threw me off at first. I was like, where's all my stuff? So let's save it and then open it and test it out. And
it worked. Everyone drink.
All right. Woohoo! So we've got all of our items here, and
that's really easy.
The page doesn't scroll, which do we have to do something to? That's interesting. That's all right. The page, I guess, doesn't need to scroll.
You want it to scroll, but Phil wants it to paginate.
Yeah, I guess both good. All right, so we should add some more things in here. So Flow Designer. So let's add. I want to make this container do a row. And we've got stylized text. Does my container, maybe this container, I need to tell it to go like full height, maybe. Grow. What do we think grow does? Did not work.
Yeah, I have one that scrolls. Let me check and see.
Yours scrolls. Is it a workspace thing maybe?
I just popped mine in the CSM workspace.
Well, we'll figure that out. We'll figure that out later. All right. So that was that one. So we want to show.
We have a question in the chat. Moody Coda is asking how nuanced is the CSS for the repeater? The items.
That is a great question, and it is something I want to look at. So I will say there is, if you go to the docs, I think it's the docs has some documentation on this, and there is an index value that you can access, I believe, when you're in the item. So you should be able to do something. Ooh, maybe you can use a formula for conditional CSS. Maybe that's a good next week topic. But I think you should be able to do that, and we may get to it. But that's a really good question. I had the same question in my head when I was messing around with this the other day. All right, so that's the title. We want the state of the artifact, the date, and then the if it has a short URL. So let's add some more things in here. I'm going to add a component after, and I guess for now we'll just make all of these divs. This is the fun part. Ooh, there's also a bug that you don't get the ampersand. That's not an ampersand. You don't get the @ symbol if you select it from the list. So that was short description. We want the publish date. So that's there. And then we'll kind of style these in a minute. Then let's add the state. Actually, really wanted the state first.
I'm kind of tripped up by that two things declared as divs are showing up on a same span line.
That's your Flexbox.
Yeah, it's the Flexbox.
Oh, it's Flexbox. Okay.
Yeah. So this is the. So if I just click on item, I don't get the @ symbol, so I don't have the autocomplete. So I have to hit @item. Value, and then we want the state. And then we're going to do one more. I know this is riveting. Item, value. I could do some copy pasting, but we're past that. No, I did state. I wanted short URL here. Or did I do? Yeah.
Short URL.
Take a drink. All right. So did this beautiful set of run together divs show up for everybody? Oh, they are on new lines. That's not what I want.
That's what I wanted.
I want it to show up the way that it looks.
That's fun. Now let's dive for an hour trying to debug that part.
It's very annoying. I knew I was going to run into some formatting issues, just because I am not generally a great CSS person. What if we change this to a grid? Ooh. Let's do this.
Yeah, I really like that feature a lot, where you can set the columns and the rows right there.
Oh, that's
just because in the past you had to actually go in the code to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is wonderful. And then can we add?
I think about the pain and suffering of doing that in Service Portal.
Yeah, do you all know how it's rendering the grid? Is it like
CSS grid?
Oh,
let's see.
Because like in Portal, you could do the bootstrap columns, and then it'll resize for mobile easily.
Earl, CSS grid is the most powerful layout system in CSS.
Oh, la-di-da, I'll shut up.
So there you go. Well, yeah, let's see how this worked. It sure didn't.
So powerful.
I wonder I wonder if there's something messed up with this workspace.
Is it because it's the divs though?
Maybe. You think what else? What we've made them spans?
Yeah, or try a paragraph or something.
Oh yeah, paragraph's probably better than span. Although doesn't paragraph
Or mix it both.
have its own? Here, let's try spans and see.
They'll want you to hit save 4 more times before you keep trying.
Log out and log back in. We'll see if it works.
I did. As I was building that data resource yesterday, I was troubleshooting it and then finally closed out a UI builder and opened it back up and it worked. And in my head, I was like, Andrew's right again, because that's what he always asked me to do.
Yeah, Kirk thinks it's the divs also.
All right, let's see if you're right, Kirk.
Go ahead and zboot your instance real quick.
This is what's dev program dev.
Oh yeah.
Why is this not? I don't want to spend the whole time troubleshooting this. There's been some weird stuff happening in this instance, so that's probably what it is. You know what? Let's do this. If that doesn't work, we're gonna move on to the next phase. So there's a question. This builder is totally new. So this is UI Builder. It did come out in Quebec. It got enhanced a little bit in Rome, and then there's some good enhancements that happened in the San Diego release as well. So this is it's been around since Quebec, but keeps getting better. Where did my stuff go? Now it's not even here. What's happening? Did my data resource return stuff? Yeah.
Just blame the high ABV alcohol.
I wish it was that. I just not even.
Don't drink and code, kids.
Yeah, it seems to be there. It's just not showing in UI Builder.
Didn't here. Let's reload. Yeah.
It's kind of amazing that we're able to run a different show creator toolbox that doesn't have these kind of hiccups as much as live coding happy hour.
Yeah, so now I see your repeater doesn't have a little badge next to it.
I think it's probably a really poorly written transform data resource. I'm pretty sure it doesn't loop. That was a joke. It definitely doesn't. Wow. So just in case it's the data resource, let's right now it's querying a bunch of stuff. So let's say this week we should just get like a few of them. Yeah, I think that was it. Ooh, this will work. This will work for us. No, it's still giving us 52.6. All right. So let's see if that did it. Well, this is upsetting to me, but I'm sure I'll figure it out 5 minutes after we get off this call. Why it's not rendering right. But anyway, one of the things that I wanted to do is if it doesn't have a short URL, I wanted to have a button that creates a short URL for it. So we need to do a couple of things here. So I believe we can edit the component visibility here. And test value. hide component. So we can say, so I want to, if there's no, I guess if there's no short URL, it's probably not going to show up anyway. But we just want that to go away. I need to use. All right, now we're showing off one of the other San Diego features in UI Builder, which is the new formulas. I have not, let's redo it. UI Builder formulas. Sure. Formula editor. All right, so we have this formula editor now where I can say, I can use an if statement. So, does this have to be true or false?
For that one, yeah. So, and if you start typing it in, it'll actually show you the arguments that it takes.
But I can't do I can't say, is it, all right. So if
I would think it could be an expression is true or false. Like you put equals or greater than or something in there.
You can cover all your bases and do is null,
all right,
is blank, is.
All right, so let's say at item dot value. This is going to be hard to test. Short URL.
Equals blank or equals null?
I guess, yeah. And then
I'd probably put both.
It's blank. It will not be null because I built that.
Oh, the transform. Yeah.
Yeah. Is it a comma here? So if it's true. No, it's the other way. So hide component. All right. So we're hiding the component if it's empty. So this is right. But we won't be able to tell if it worked because it won't show up anyway. We can do this though. Let's. Can we give it a border? Let's work. Oh no, it didn't. So let's let's do this. Styles. If we give it a background color.
Yeah, I just want to mention too, and we'll talk about this later. All those are coming from your theme.
Yes, and it makes them all discoverable. I guess we'll get into this next week, but wait, why do none of these have? So it is working, but not correctly because it's hiding all the short URLs.
I think your expression is true.
Did we not write that expression the correct way? Because it's gone now. Right?
And it's stripped. Why? And it left of actual value, but it stripped the rest of it away?
It did do that. So if I think we wrote that right.
That says that's in the label column field. Does that make a difference?
I don't think so. I think it should work in any place you're binding data. I mean, we can do this with a script too. I just wanted to mess with the formula. So it's probably easier with a script because we can just say API.item.
Lisa is saying there was a error underline underneath the if statement.
It probably did not like that expression.
You might be able to go look at it, see if it has a why.
All right, let's try it.
Yeah, I wonder like I've been using it with the like client state parameters. I'm just wondering if it has something to do with us using that item data binding.
I think it's this part that it doesn't like. So a conditional parameter, or conditional as it's the types. Yeah.
Yeah. So I've been using like, if state dot table name, like putting the exclamation point in front of it for it to return fault, like, if one doesn't exist, but you said your data transform isn't returning null values.
Yeah, so it's just it's an empty string or not. So so just note to self, if you're going to use the condition, the formulas, I guess you have to use a true false in the first part. Yeah, Drew, I think this would work, except this is only going to return an empty string. Oh, well, false. It's still not going to work.
When I've done empty string checks, it checks for null, it checks for empty string. So the Boolean value, I don't know what evaluator we're using here, but it's worked fine in the past.
All right.
I say give that a try.
You think this will work? All right.
Well, it's either going to work or it's going to be reversed, because you might want to say if not at item.
How come we're not getting a? Yeah. All right. We'll have some sort of border too. That'll work. All right. Oh,
cool.
It did not work. So these should all be hidden.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Phil asks if we can wrap it in parentheses. That is an interesting idea. I don't.
Yeah. So all of it was always evaluating as true.
Yeah, it's false, right? This is whether it's hiding it or not.
Oh,
and
you're right.
Did not hide it.
Yeah.
Oh,
red line.
Red line. Yeah, Boolean is the first. I maybe should have read that the first time. All right, so it does not accept an expression here.
What if you put no? I was trying to get the expression. Can you tag a return statement on top of the Boolean on the expression?
I think no expressions is lame. I think we got to fix that.
Yeah, that's gonna work.
So we can just do this in a script.
So what we know as developers,
we could do this in a script fairly easy, where we say. It's false. Value dot. Oh, it's not going to autocomplete for me. All right. See if that works. Somebody sanity check me. That looks right?
Yes. We want to hide it if it's an empty string.
Yeah, it's the opposite one. It did work. All right.
Cool.
So now what I want to do is I want to put a button here. Yeah, let's see.
Lisa, just in case people want to go back and see what might be the solution, Lisa's saying that the evaluator of empty will work.
Oh, do we
Where'd you find that? How does she know that?
Supported functions. Lisa knows a lot of stuff.
Yeah, Lisa's is a wealth of knowledge.
I want to know where she's getting these things.
Yeah, what she posted may work.
Just plug in random SQL statements and see if it comes up.
Returns true if value is
See if it
null or
deletes tables
undefined.
out of the database.
This is
Yeah,
very
that is
like
what
At least
we
it can
want.
search faster.
this feels very Excel now, like using len parameter list. It feels
I
very
think that's what it
SQL.
was modeled after.
All right. I want to try it because I'm copying that. Oh, thanks. Empty. Oh, yeah. We don't need all that other stuff. Oh, I lost my copy. All right. No red lines.
No, you're missing your if.
Oh, there's no if. It's an empty, so it returns true or false, whether that's empty or not.
No, I think your condition is if and then empty is your first.
Yeah,
That goes. That's your first parameter. If empty.
No, so this expression returns a true or a false, and so that's all we want.
I guess you're right.
Is
Okay,
true
that
or false.
should work.
But if you want,
Yeah.
if you like pain, you could wrap it into another if statement of true and false.
But it
just
did
to
not
return
work.
True or false.
It did not work.
All right, let's try the if statement. Let's try the if
So
statement.
what it technically says here is it returns true if value is null or undefined, which I don't think either of those are the case with an empty string, right? It seems like this whole thing would be better if I had just done null, but it's our there we go.
Did you save your script?
It's still there. Thanks, UI Builder. All right, it's working again. So I think the last thing we're going to get to is adding this button. And one of the things that I wanted to show here is we actually didn't spend very much time on the repeater component, and it's because it's very simple. There's not a lot to it. It's just repeating the same thing a bunch of times. But before we add this button, I guess one thing we can explore before we get into before we go is the CSS question. And so I think we should have access to the point in the array where we're at. Is it context? Where did I see? Oh, it was internal documentation, of course. Context.
That's helpful.
Yeah. No, that's a global thing. It's item. I think there's another. No, I could have sworn there was something that tells us where we are at in the array. Ooh, and I think I bookmarked it. All right, talk amongst yourselves.
This is when the faces come back on screen. Or I can just focus on Brad's face while he ponders this.
All right, let's see if this works. It did not autocomplete for me, but I found on something that this should work. So let's see. It did work. All right. You don't always get a lot out of this show, but here's something that's not documented. I don't think that's here.
Pretty cool.
So
that's helpful.
Item.index. You can use.
Can we try all of them? Put first or last or even, and see what happens.
Yeah, let's try.
We're really testing what who asked earlier, Coda.
We're off script. If there was one.
Nothing. Item. Oh, dot undefined. Well, thanks for that's kind of nice actually. So I put even. What?
Phil, you're right. It did start at 1.
Nope. Even is not a thing.
So you tried first and you tried even.
I tried first and even.
Yeah,
yes.
so last and odd probably won't work either. Well, at least index is there, but oddly it starts at 1.
I mean, you
which
could test
hurts.
whether it was even or odd in your conditions for your styling, I think, right? All right, so we did that.
I like when the show goes into like pushing boundaries and seeing if
Yeah.
things work.
That's 2 things I've learned today. My head hurts.
Don't. My brain purges the first thing once it learns
Was
a new
it-
thing.
Don't drink a stout. Was that the first or the index? All right.
Brad, keep drinking.
I still have a lot left. Let's give this another column so it all shows up in the same.
Can we change the default let's workflow it?
We cannot. Well, it's not on brand anymore, guys.
Yeah, can we change it to something?
I'll
sure
put something right in for that. I'm sure the team
Yeah.
will hop right on that.
That's a Utah thing. No, we don't need anything here. Why did I use stylized text? We want a button. Really, we need to do a bunch more things to make this work, but label create short URL. I like to use icons. How about a plus?
Yeah, I learned that about you. You really do like the icons.
There's the third thing. So we only want this to show up. Here, let's grab my script and then switch it. But if people are wondering, why did you hide a thing that you can't see anyway? I really wanted to do the opposite and only show the button.
I also love live coding happy hour because it's true development in the sense of we're copy pasting stuff, changing true to false, false to true, reading the documentation, Googling some things,
Talking out loud to yourself.
painting yourself over a CSS thing that won't show up, even though it's not part of the
Drinking.
requirements.
All right, so this may be, yeah. So basically, what I want to be able to do is when we have these calls every week where we go over, what are we doing, what's coming up in terms of blogs and live shows, and I usually want a short link from there. And there's a lot of ways we could do that, but UI Builder is a fun way to do that. And I want to know if a thing has a short link. And since they're not connected, that's hard to do in the regular forms and lists. We could always just connect them, but this is more fun. So what we have here is we've got, if the thing has a short link, we show the short link. If not, we have a button to create a short link. And there's a few more things we would need to do. For that short link to get created, we need a stub for it. So what goes after devlink.sn. So we'd probably hit the button. If there's already a stub on the record, we could use that. If not, we could pop up a modal and have a person type in what they want it to be and then create it, refresh this list. Oh, one thing I wanted to check before we go. So in a standard list, in the list component or the simple list component in UI Builder, in order to get it to refresh, you have to pass it the date time stamp of when you want it to refresh. So if you want it to refresh right away, you just give it the current date and time. And it's always kind of annoyed me. But generally, if you are populating something with a data resource and you refresh the data resource, then your thing should refresh. There's not going to be enough time to do that. We may continue this next week, but we'll see. I don't know. Anything else we want to try to get done in the next few minutes?
Pop up a modal with a suggested value.
We could do that. I think that's going to take too long. Let's add a refresh button. We won't be able to. Yeah, I'm adding a refresh button. I asked for suggestions and then ignored them. Sorry.
I appreciate you.
Let's call it refresh. And then what this button is going to do is it's going to refresh this data resource. So what we're going to have to do is refresh the list. We have a refresh button. I'm going to come into Artifact Manager and we go. Don't look at the blog posts that have been around for 2 years already. What was the?
Oh, they're seeing behind the curtain. They're seeing behind the curtain.
We're going to convince Dave Slusher to publish that one of these days.
Ouch. All right. So I changed that. Let's go back. So if we hit refresh, it worked.
Cool.
Nice.
All right. So
I just want to. I get disenchanted with because how many years we're on the system and building service portals and building other interfaces and stuff, but you were able to do a repeating thing with conditionals for buttons and a refresh button in less than an hour while drinking. And I don't know. I just sometimes need to take a step back and that was all via one interface.
That's a really good point. I think with UI Builder, there is definitely a learning curve, and it's not necessarily like an easy entry tool, but it's an incredibly powerful low-code tool. If we had gotten that formula to work, we wouldn't have written any code on this episode. And so, yeah, you're right. Being able to repeat a list and come in and style it, if we learn how to do that, and all of those things is pretty powerful for creating a UI.
Yeah, I was going to say too, I mean, you're doing this and I know the stuff I'm doing, we don't have this wealth of documentation that we can pull from right now. I think, as the community grows, we have more example in community. Maybe if folks start throwing up recipes for things that they've done in UI Builder, that it will go even faster when you're in here.
Yeah. All right, we're back.
Thanks, Brad.
Yeah.
Let's go around and rate our beers.
All right. I had the barrel-aged Worldwide Stout. It's an excellent beer. I do have a good amount left still, but I'm going to give it a 5. I don't know that I've ever given anything a 5, but it really hit the spot today.
Ashley?
Mm-hmm. So I had the Lodge Life by Athletic Brewing. Like I said, it's a non-alcoholic beer. It was pretty good. I mean, it's pretty flavorful. I'm going to give it a 4. I'm not really a heavy beer drinker, but I think it was, I really got the vanilla and the chocolate and the cinnamon in there.
You don't have to drink beer on this show. You could drink wine. You could drink a spritzer. Whatever you want. It's totally up to you. I think Drew brought a Coca-Cola a couple times.
We get a lot of water.
I've seen tea on here too.
Yep, I've been known to do that myself. Earl?
You're
Earl's on mute.
I have I said fudge. I have an early bird from Coronado Brewing Co. Solid 4, I would say 4.25, but I've also been eating Strive beef built on beef jerky, and I'm gonna upgrade it to 4.5 if you're eating the beef jerky with it. Because oh man, it's so happy in my tummy.
That's excellent. I don't think we've ever rated beef jerky on the show. It's great.
It's the first time for everything, man.
Live coding jerky hour.
I like it.
And I've got my Kilt Lifter Scottish style amber ale from Four Peaks. If I drink too many of these, I start to go down in rating. It's nice once in a while beer, and this is that once in a while because I don't think I've had it in at least 6 months because I was sick of it last time for getting a case. So it must take about a month per bottle to get over it. So I'll see this one again in a month. I'm going to give this one a 4.0.
Very nice. Do we have any
And with
announcements?
that, I want to just do one more plug for, you may have heard it on the Breakpoint. You may have heard it on Tech Now, but if you haven't heard already, we're doing a software peer review, kind of like the Yelp of enterprise software with a company called G2. We're in partnership for that. So if you go to devlink.sn/G2 review, I know Earl is ferociously typing that right now, devlink.sn/G2 review, you can go give a review of App Engine. So App Engine Studio, that surrounded stuff. And I don't know if we reached that 30-person mark or not, but I think the first 30 people were getting a gift card. So check that out. If not, if you don't get the gift card, we still truly appreciate it. I know the number of people have been putting those in, and we really, really appreciate it. So give it a quick plug for that. Are there any other announcements? I think we've got more UI Builder stuff next week. Do we not, Brad?
We do. Ashley's going to join us on Tuesday for Creator Toolbox, and we're going to kind of go through all of those little UI Builder features and enhancements. We touched on a few of them today, and we'll get more into those. And then next Friday, we will do another live coding happy hour on UI Builder. It'll probably be a continuation of this one, and we'll try to use some of those things, but we'll see.
Make sure to check back to the devlink.sn/San Diego for any updates. It's going to be updated throughout the entire season, so make sure to just get used to going back to that link to seeing what's coming up.
Yeah, if there's a specific topic that you're interested in, we're going to be publishing the YouTube links a couple of weeks in advance. So I know after next week, I think we have Flow Designer coming up. So if you're interested in Flow Designer try-catch statements or what is it, debugging? I don't remember the other one. You can set a reminder for that and have it remind you when it's about to start.
And the last thing is the mentorship program is live. So if you are looking to be a mentor or a mentee within the sector and want us to help you find one person to be your mentor or mentee, go to devlink.sn/mentorship and sign up. We're really looking for a lot more mentors. If you're out there and you think you have knowledge to spread or just the ability to guide somebody to find who they want to be, that's what we're really looking for. So check it out. Ashley, do you have anything?
Just stay tuned next week. Like Brad said, we have more UI Builder stuff coming out for the San Diego release.
And with that, we thank you for watching. See you again real soon. Until then, stay safe, everybody. Have a wonderful week. Bye.
Bye, everyone.